All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to our project community meeting. Today is January 23rd, and that's official project Velero community meeting. So just be nice to each other. That's everything that we need right now. I'm going to share the community meeting notes into the chat. So it would be super cool if you add yourself there and add your topics as well. I'm going to share that as well if we have someone already added some stuff there. Okay. Okay, I hope everybody can see my screen and okay, you quite a few people added themselves already. So shall we go status updates? Mateusz, you wanna add, discuss something?
Just ask for reviews on my PR. Tiger already reviewed. Now want to see other people's review. Basically, I think what we need here is to see if the issues that Golang CI Lint is presenting, we want that. For example, it's complaining about line length. I think that we can try to suppress. But other things I think that it's important us to check. And I think another important thing is follow up PR on this one, because I saw that we are skipping, for example, test directors. But for example, on last PR we added Ginkgo linter, and Ginkgo linter is only for tests. So I think that's not what we want. But I think not much more to discuss. Just want reviews.
Okay, thank you. I see Tiger. Anyone from the Broadcom side? Do you need anyone from Broadcom side to review that thing as well?
Yes. Give me 1 second. Let me check the issue number so I can add a link here.
Sorry, Dino, can you repeat that thing? The last one?
Yeah. I'm saying I need 1 more second. I'm editing the HackMD. So
Oh, okay.
so generally we are I checked with Wenkai this morning. He said there's still some issue regarding the informer cache, and he's gonna fix it. Tiger, just make sure Wenkai has talked to you about it, right?
Yeah, I think I saw a PR posted earlier today about that.
Yes, I reviewed it and approved. Yeah, a PR from Wenkai.
Okay. So I think after that one is merged, probably we're good to tag RC2 Beijing time tomorrow. And after that, if the pipeline all passed, we're gonna GA 1.13. And currently in Beijing office, we are planning 1.14, and there are some issues we started to work on. And I think later we can discuss how we can plan 1.14 better. I think generally we're gonna have a draft of the plan before the Chinese New Year, which is around February 9th, I think. Before that, I think I'm gonna update the wiki and propose the work items in 1.14. And personally, I'm working on an issue in IRSA. We wanna switch the order in some cases so that the credential file have higher privilege. Currently, the SDK by default, the IRSA setting will override the credential file, which is not optimal in some case, not ideal in some case. Yeah, that's all my status.
All right. Mateusz, do you need something else, or we can move on to the next one?
Yeah, we can move on.
Thank you. Tiger, you're up next.
Yep, just noting that I'm working on a design this week. It's linked. It's for the Velero client download API server. It's still in draft. So this will help out users on the client side where the CLI doesn't have access to the object storage. So the hope is that with this design, it will work with future storage that is not object storage. Because today the client side will require an object storage for you to run Velero logs or Velero backup download. So hopefully this will help out in the future. And then I'm going to be trying out the end-to-end suite this week. So hopefully on the Red Hat side, we can try to get the upstream end-to-end working on our environment. And then if I have any doc updates, I'll make a pull request. And that's it.
Danfeng has been working with you on that, right? I think she mentioned that there are some cases require some specific setting in the environment. So probably we're gonna make them non-default. So by default we skip the special test cases in the upstream, so that you can pass the all the test cases, yeah. So that hopefully that will unblock you.
Okay. You said something about the default.
Yeah, because currently Danfeng mentioned that in our internal discussion, Danfeng mentioned that there are some test cases require specific setting in the environment, and it may be a bit too tricky for upstream users like you. So
Okay.
maybe she mentioned that we want to label the test cases in a certain way so that you can skip some of these test cases when you run the end-to-end test suite.
Okay.
It would be also good to document those required steps so that we have the option, because one of the things is that I understand, day-to-day running, you want to skip certain tests, but at the same time, if I'm changing code that affects those end-to-end tests that we normally skip, I may want to be able to run them locally. So I would want to know what those settings are so I can make sure that nothing in the test breaks with those changes. And that's just, this is kind of a general thing Tiger's kind of working on, because I think really Shubham and Tiger, pretty much nobody on the Red Hat side has had much success running those tests locally. And so this is going to kind of get us in a better position. So
yeah,
that,
so you mentioned that it's even better to share the settings with you so that you can run all the test cases.
Right.
Are they like private or security? Are there security concerns about?
I don't think there's security concern, but some of the setting is tricky and a bit ad hoc. I think that's a case by case thing.
Yeah, I just think we need to document that better, because again, I think it makes sense that we don't necessarily want to run every test all the time, but at the same time, it would be good for someone on our side to be able to run every test when we needed to, especially if we're changing code that it looks like those tests could be affected by, to make sure we're not submitting broken PRs and that kind of thing.
Sure, Scott or Tiger, would you mind writing up an issue? We're gonna assign it to Danfeng to make sure this is follow up. Well, we're gonna follow up this.
So yeah, and may I ask that we mark that fairly critical, because having end-to-end tests that aren't able to be executed successfully by community seems a little dangerous.
That's why we want to skip something. So that's a matter of choice, because currently we have all the test cases upstream, and some of the test cases require very specific setting. So either we document those settings or we skip them by default.
I think we can do both. I think skipping them by default might make sense, but at the same time, I think we need to document them, because again, if I'm just making random code changes not relating to certain tests, I could see skipping those, getting the PR out there. But at the same time, if I'm changing a use case or changing code, relating to something that those tests are testing, I want to be able to run that test to make sure that I'm not making a change that'll break that. So I think we want to document, even if it's a bit tricky to run this particular test, at least I know how to do it. It's a pain to do it. I won't do it very often, but I want to have the ability to run all the
Okay,
tests,
okay.
even if I don't choose to run them
Okay,
all the time.
so yeah. I think I'm convinced, Scott. So I think it's better to document about the settings so that you have so that will be a higher priority.
Yeah.
But
And again, it's fine to continue to disable them, skip them by default, but we should document these tests are skipped and here's how you run them.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And
yeah,
in a
I
few,
think we're gonna focus on the document side first.
Yeah.
So that we're gonna share the settings and let them share this information and make sure it's possible for you guys to run all the test cases.
yeah. And I apologize. I had figured we were running those end-to-end tests, at least locally. I just kind of became aware of some of the situation, but again, from a community perspective, it is really important, I think, for Red Hat and other contributors. I would almost advocate a second step along this lines, that if there are anything that can't be run by someone skilled in the art coming into the community should probably be put into a different suite, still executed eventually. But the documentation is a good first step. Skipping them by default is a great first step, and I appreciate that. But making that more community friendly is an imperative, I think.
Of course, but that may take some time, and we're
Yeah.
gonna iteratively make the improvement. I think previously, I think the first step has to be skip something, but I think Scott has convinced me that probably the documentation is more important. So I'm gonna talk to Danfeng to follow up. Thank you.
All right, are we complete with that subtopic of Tiger, or need more discussions? Thank you, Tiger.
I'm good. Yep.
Yeah, Daniel, you're next for status updates and stuff.
No. I think I finished my status update.
Okay,
Yep.
Okay, so you plugged it in, everything in between. All right, gotcha. So I have two things. Due to the changes within VMware/Broadcom company, new invites needs to be sent soon, and I'm working on something more sustainable and less company restricted. But I can update you once I have some updates from Zoom. For example, to have a Zoom account only for Velero, not within the Broadcom domain, so everybody can manage that and record and do whatever is needed for the community meetings. But I'll update you whenever I have something from Zoom folks. My next thing is I asked in the beginning, but it wasn't like off the record. Anyone planning to visit KubeCon in Paris? We can try to do again a meetup, dinner, drinks, or something. We had one successful drinks.
We did. I think Tiger still might be trying to get there, but we're saving our gunpowder for Salt Lake.
Gotcha. Okay. That's open source summit, right?
No, it's KubeCon North America. It's in Salt Lake City in November.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's announced, but there's no information yet, other than
Okay,
I think the dates are announced, but that's pretty much it. They haven't,
Okay, we can.
RFPs and all that.
Okay, we can try there as well. Okay. Good. Pity won't see you in Paris. Will be good. Very nice places to have drinks. I mean, to talk Velero. And yeah, okay. Okay, so discussion topics. Wes, you added some stuff.
Yeah. So yesterday morning, I took the liberty to create a 114 wiki roadmap page. Please change that as you guys see fit. Just trying to get a feel for when we should have our 114 candidate tags done. I think I last heard by the end of this week. Is that still the case? Just to kind of be in line with the Broadcom triaging of 114. Daniel, do you?
Yeah. is there a question for me?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we're gonna.
When would you like to have all our issues tagged?
Yeah, I think the process work like this. There's a milestone called feature freeze. Normally that happens in like 4 or 6 weeks after we kick off 1.14. So
Okay.
before that time, I think we can continuously tagging and triaging 1.14 candidates. But after the feature freeze milestone, we're gonna make sure all the issues labeled as candidates either be put into 1.14 milestone or kick out of 1.14.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, that's the process in previous releases. I think that do you think that would still work for 1.14?
Yeah, that's fine. I just wasn't 100% clear on the when that was all happening.
Yeah,
That's fine.
I'm gonna, because we are still wrapping up 1.13.
Yeah,
Tomorrow
100%.
we have a group discussion, and I will try to edit the wiki page to propose the date.
Sure.
So by the end of this week, I think you're gonna see it.
Okay, great. I just didn't want to hold you guys up. So appreciate that answer. The other thing is, I had a very nice discussion with Pradeep yesterday.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
He shared a roadmap of features that would cover probably multiple years. These are ideas and things that the community can pull from and then prioritize. So Orlin, if you scroll up, and you can also reformat this in any way you see fit. I added above January 23rd. Yeah, that roadmap. I don't know how we want to do this as a community, but I pulled there was a lot of overlap in what Pradeep had suggested for a long-term roadmap to what we were also thinking, and so I just put down some of those things that are important to us. Those, all the performance improvements, volume groups, and the NFS local volume support, those were all on that roadmap that Pradeep produced. I assume everyone at Broadcom has already seen his document. I've yet to share it with my team. I will do so today, but some sort of prioritizing of what the community is going after, maybe once a month in these meetings, Orlin, we could have like, here's the top 5 or so items that we're going after from a high level perspective, not in a specific issue perspective. Something along those lines.
So that would be like a super quick what's the word in English? Sorry. Like the bullet points from the release map for the next release, so people can like easily take that. Or
yeah, I think most of the time we'll say yes, those are still the priorities we're going after.
Yeah. And most probably I'll put also, if we say that's the link,
yeah,
the roadmap, that should go where is it? Come on, like somewhere, I don't know.
Yeah,
somewhere here, like.
Sure, but that the roadmap, I think, is a slightly longer time frame than one release, but yeah, sure. So 1.14 roadmap plus 1.15 roadmap would probably encompass what we're looking at in that longer term roadmap. Yeah. Again, with the idea that we at least know vaguely what direction we're heading for more than just one release ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that, any concerns with anything that I said from anyone?
Sorry. I don't quite follow you about the items you mentioned above. I mean, above the January 23 line. This looking for recurring refinement of longer term goals. So how do you think we want to follow up these ones in the list?
Well, these are also on Pradeep's list, so I was pleased to
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying these are the three things that are important to us from Red Hat over the next 6, 12, maybe even more months.
Mhm.
From a community, we need to get obviously Broadcom, Cloudcom, Microsoft, whatever, to all kind of like weigh in on what the project should be driving towards
Mhm.
in some sense that's longer than 3-4 months or the next release.
And one reason for that longer focus is some of these issues might be, you know, it's a higher level feature that might actually be implemented over the course of 2 or 3 releases because it might be
Right.
broken up into smaller chunks of functionality.
Mhm.
Right.
You know, the performance improvements is an example where, you know, there might be some refactoring and then there could be some other changes. And so, you know, if it's too much work to throw in one release, there might be a phased approach where we do the design at one point, say in 114, and then we do the first part of the implementation in 115. So some of these kind of span, you know, they're kind of larger focus than, you know, a single issue that's tagged to a single release.
Sure. Okay. So I see that's for communication for letting other folks know what Red Hat thinks are higher priority in the roadmap, right?
Right. But what I would hope is that as we
Mhm.
have discussion about those things, there's some consensus in the community and we remove, you know, the company name on the side of that these are just Velero project priorities that we're driving towards over the course of the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, but I think these are duplication with the Pradeep's roadmap, right? What do you think if we share the
So,
roadmap to make it
well,
public?
I mean, that would be great. I would I don't like what I would hope is that Orlin, we have another HackMD page that is public, that is just for the roadmap, that is linked from this meeting, that anyone in the community can see, and then that maybe maintainers have access to actually edit and everyone else has read. But that type of perfectly fine for product managers and other managers to do some internal planning of a roadmap, but ultimately community discussion and interest should lead that and have the final call of what the Velero project is going after.
Yeah. I think when I discuss with Pradeep, the idea is that he's gonna share with you guys, and once we have a relative consensus, we're gonna make the content in the Google Doc public
But
some way.
that's not okay. I mean, yes, that's what he discussed with me as well. But from a putting on my community hat, it's not just Red Hat and Broadcom.
Right.
We have users that can weigh in. We have other partners that can weigh in. Yeah. And HackMD lends itself to a more public community stance. If the Google Doc or whatever it is if people could put down comments, if it's public, whatever, and if maintainers have edit access, I think that's fine. Just trying to get it more opened.
Sure, but the object to be opened is Pradeep's Google Doc, right? I mean,
I don't see why it needs to be in a Google Doc format. I think we could
okay.
that over to a HackMD and make it more of a community owned roadmap, but it needs to be that roadmap from time to time needs to be looked at, touched on, and edited from the community standpoint. And Pradeep is also part of that community. Others are part of that community. Google Doc access can be revoked. Those sorts of things. But
I see. So what do you think we first after we reviewed it, we transform that Google Doc into a MD file and upload to a Velero repo, so that they're all in one repo, and that's, I don't know what's the name, because we already have a roadmap. Maybe we call it a long-term roadmap or something.
Yeah.
Can I share my 2 cents here? First of all, that's a long due discussion that we were postponing for quite a while. That the roadmap and the actual planning for the few releases ahead was like primarily done within the doors of VMware/Broadcom now, and that was not that public as it should be for open source project. So, what Wes is proposing, actually, HackMD is very good way to do that. Many projects are using that because the core team can collaborate on top of it, and actually everybody can see that. If it's done through PRs within the repository, it's super slow, and it's not like dynamic enough to do roadmap during like a monthly discussion or.
Okay, so you're suggesting HackMD over the MD file in the repo. I'm okay either way.
No. HackMD, the website that we have, the way how we do this one. For example, due to the transitions that we're going through now, this file that we are like doing the community meetings, as you can see, is owned by Velero now. I've created a team within HackMD, and if you open that, we can add all the folks in there, so all the maintainers, and we can have different HackMD files for different things, right? The community meetings and the roadmap, which can be visible for everyone, but only few people can actually modify, which are the stakeholders of the project. And that's it. That's Pradeep, you, Daniel, you, West, and like pretty much all maintainers and their representatives within the company, with the community. Sorry. If we do that on the hacking, what's that?
If I'm not mistaken, HackMD is a Git-based MD versioning system.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not going into it. Yeah, thank you very much.
You can mute him.
Captain Obvious, but the thing is, I mean, HackMD in MD file in the repository is much more not complicated but slow to edit, and also all this stuff should be like the whole planning for the long term release roadmap should be done in open, not like Red Hat are doing something, Broadcom are doing something, and maybe they merge their two visions in between somewhere. I don't know when. More open governance, if I can say so, for the project.
Yeah, stepping in those directions, I think, is healthy. How we do so, my preference would be to lean on the best practices from other Kubernetes projects, but I'm open to anything. Yeah, I think I've said enough. I think this is a good discussion.
Yeah, some other projects are doing that, for example, in wiki pages in GitHub, but it's again not always convenient. Like simultaneous edits, like two people editing the same file are not possible, so that can bring some issues. So yeah.
Okay.
So one other option is actually to maybe not archive, but when the documents are set on some agreement, then they can be converted to the GitHub pages using some nice decoration or third-party projects to convert them to documentation.
I think in this case, a long-term roadmap informs the candidate triage in the next release, and yeah, that's it. I don't know if anyone else, It's just something to a compass to refer back to as we're doing triaging what's coming in this release, what's coming in the next release. Maybe we could do a little bit of 115 as well. Who knows? Oh, when we're doing 114.
Right, but if this is a planning, then when the plan is set, what I am saying is that I don't know, using some Docsify with those MD files from HackMD could be transferred to GitHub pages, so they are landing nicely on the community page when they are set. And this is a work in progress where everyone can contribute, quickly edit pages, and so on. But once the planning is done, it's done.
Sure, I think that's
Yeah.
fine. I
I
do
don't know,
think
maybe
that
it's too
that's a
complex.
little, there's overlap between what
Yeah.
we've triaged as issues, but that's fine. If it's more human readable, that's fine.
And it's like a next step after we have that done, actually to be more presentable to the community.
Sure.
Yeah.
All automatic, like using this Docsify, it's nicely generated page directly from MD files.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bye, Daniel. By the way, I have to drop also in 10 minutes anyway.
Yeah. Just a quick comment regarding Shuban's discussion item. Ming told me that there's some disagreement, but I didn't have time to check it. Hopefully, in the next couple of days this week, I'm gonna review it and discuss with you. Yeah, I think that one is really important for Wonderful Team.
Sure thing, Daniel. Thank you.
Thank you. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
All righty. Anything else to discuss? I think the roadmap thing, it's good stuff, especially when you guys have discussed that with Pradeep already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like we're mostly aligned anyway, but now it's much easier to see that. And there's a lot of cool ideas on that roadmap, and I'll be sharing it with my team.
So the whole idea was to actually do this,
Mhm.
and now we can create a new one, and we can call it whatever we want.
Long-term roadmap is what I
Yeah.
heard seemed to be most clear to everyone. If anyone has a better term, that's fine.
Something like that, right? And we can fill it in.
Yeah.
And then I can
Tiger.
Why did you?
It's funny.
So we can I can add everyone into this space. For example, let's see. Anyway, but that's okay, that doesn't work. Wes, what's your
I think it's Wes Hayton.
Nah, Wesley Lin?
Not Wesley.
Wes.
It's Hay. Hold on, I'm looking.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and I can add you as an admin, and then we can assign pretty much we can add all maintainers with their respective accounts and assign them to that node, and everybody from that specific sub team can edit. Everybody can see. So,
how you want to do this, like the implementation of it, I'm not as concerned, just more that it's community driven.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the reason why I took the freedom to create that team Velero and move the community meeting there, nodes and everything, so to be less broadcom oriented.
Yeah, I was not jumping for joy when I heard a Google Doc would be made readable to the world as our long-term roadmap. That didn't seem okay. Yeah, that's all. So thank you for looking into this.
Yeah, I was driving this on the background without actually notifying much because I wanted to have something actually usable and then, but yeah. All right. Okay, I don't have anything else, and I have to rush to pick up my girl from English classes. So if everyone is okay, we can close for today.
I thought it's
Thank-
a Kuban discussion.
Oh yeah, I just
Oh.
wanted the reviews from the bridging team. So Daniel took that on point, so we are good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, and talk to you in 2 weeks. Right?
Great. Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Same here. Bye.
Bye.